I remember I was actually speaking with a group of students. We do a lot of work with kids, particularly a lot of kids involved in the juvenile justice system. And one of the kids asked me a question. They said, are some choices in life more important than others? And I thought that was a really interesting question. And I thought about it, and my answer to them was, yes, some choices are more important than others. The problem is we don't know the difference between which ones are which. And so hopefully that, I wanted people to understand that the larger holistic nature of our entire society and our entire community is that, in many cases, kids are making decisions that they think are the best decisions that are standing directly in front of them. So part of our larger job is to make sure that we're broadening up their eyes about what potential is actually out there and what things they can actually do. I was very happy to see the initiative announced and the initiative kicked off because I think it's important to add this in a larger context. Because this isn't just about how exactly are we helping young boys of color. This is about the fact that when you look at every single ratio, that boys of color are falling behind on educational attainment, on employment attainment, the success and stability of families. And so if we're going to be serious about national advancement, we have to be serious about national advancement in the larger understanding of what national advancement is supposed to mean. And we cannot continue having movement with certain segments of the population repeatedly falling behind. We can never have an honest conversation about the future of our country if only a sliver of the population is part of that conversation. And so I applaud the fact that we're making this part of a bigger national conversation because our just community development and competitiveness depends on it. We need to be able to get more philanthropic involvement in some of these issues. We need to make sure that people understand that this is a bigger issue. It's not just about those kids and those communities, but it's about all of our communities. And I applaud the fact that the president was using that platform in the bully pulpit for that. I think that we now need to make sure that there's real meat behind what that means. We need to make sure that there's measurable evidence that things are getting better. We need to make sure that we're putting platforms in place for these type of opportunities to actually mean something. And so I was excited about the announcement. I'm looking forward to really being able to push and prod to make sure that we have genuine sustainable movement around this as well, because the numbers that we're seeing for so many kids, and particularly for so many boys of color, we can't, from an economic, from a social, or from a moral standpoint, continue to allow these numbers to look at how they are. It's not going to be good for any of us in the long term. You know what I think this book has done? It's given me a sense of courage that I didn't realize that I had before. I think for a lot of my life, you kind of grew up with this sense of, there's a term in psychology called the imposter syndrome. And what the imposter syndrome is when you find yourself in places that you just feel like you don't belong. And you feel like this imposter, and you're constantly waiting for someone to kind of find you out. It's like, well, how did you end up in this room? It's like, oh, yeah, sorry, I did kind of sneak in. But then I realize now that I don't suffer from that anymore. I belong. I have a contribution, I have a voice, I have a point of view, and I plan on using it. And I think what the book has helped me do, first of all, it's made me, and just knowing Wes, period, has made me more humble, has made me more thankful, has made me more appreciative for the people who I had in my life who frankly saw something in me before I was even prepared to see it in myself, who believed in me in a way that I don't think I had the wherewithal to understand in my own life. And I think it's given me a much greater sense of appreciation.